Hi everyone, it's Kimberly. How are you? Welcome back to the channel. Probably going to do a little quick card pull for the full moon, but I want to talk to you guys a bit about my journey and share some things with you. A lot of you have been asking. Some of you are going to see this video and you're going to be like, who the heck are you? Because other people are sharing it. And those of you who are sharing it for me, thank you. You are amazing blessings in my life. For those of you who don't know me or might be just tuning into this video because it was shared and you're like, who's this girl? I have been a YouTuber for the past 3.5 years. I have worked primarily with twin flames and those along the ascension journey. I am an intuitive soul coach, speaker, author, and I am on my own healing journey as well and have been in a battle with cancer, namely over the past 4 months or so. And so 4 months, as it's been completely known to me, I think it's been about 7 or 8 weeks since my actual diagnosis. And a lot of you have had a lot of questions that I haven't been ready to answer, so I'm going to try to answer those now. I am a naturopathic, homeopathic healer. I have been for the past decade. I believe in the body's ability to heal itself. I believe in food as medicine. I live that life. I have lived that life. I share a lot of this on my social media. If you guys want to check it out, I do share a lot of creative recipes, how to eat to feed your body, to sustain your metabolic processes, and to help your organs and support your organs. I believe that we can still make food delicious and without the restriction, and just learning how to eat and make better choices. And so that's a lot of how I teach. I do in my soul coaching. I'm a past life regression therapist. I do, soul coaching with people to help you heal the root issues of your emotional wounding. And, I have quite a story to tell you about this past year for me. And I think you all on the twin flame path will want to hear this because I too was on this journey, and a lot of important things for my ascension have come up for me, and even getting cancer is part of that. What I want to tell you up front, though, is that I am at a stage 4. They have now concluded that I am at a stage 4 diagnosis. I have a lymph node that is under my clavicle here that is showing that it has spread. So where it originally originated is not where it's spreading to now. And they are, basically saying that I'm terminal and they would like me to do chemotherapy, which I do not believe in and will not be doing. So I'm healing naturally. I haven't taken antibiotics in 7 years. I know how to heal myself. I also have been receiving all of your prayers, your support, and your suggestions. And a lot of your suggestions have been great. I've left no stone unturned. There's nothing I don't know about in cancer. And I also have a lot of intuitive knowledge. And when I make it through this, I will be dedicating my book and my cookbook in a new way and with a new focus. I was writing a book and a cookbook, and now it's all going to be rededicated towards helping you prevent disease, cure disease, and also heal yourself emotionally, because that is the number one piece that I think people miss with the cancer, is that it is an emotional blockage. And you must understand that at the root, that's the number one thing that needs to be healed. The diet, the extracts, the vitamin C injections, the CBD oil, the raw diet, the supplements, the building your immunity, that all needs to happen too. You must do it. You must be aggressive with it. However, the root of cancer is emotional, and that is what needs to happen in order to heal. So I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you a little bit about my journey, just so I can be a little bit more transparent with you. In the meantime, I do want to seek a holistic treatment, probably out of the country, because it's not available in this country yet. And I do hope to change that once I get better. And being terminal and not having a very short timeline in front of me, I need to raise some major funding very quickly. I knew I might be at this point a few months ago. I did a first round of fundraising, and it was good, and it's helped me delve into some alternative therapies, but this is very serious. So I have some helpers helping me spread this message, and hopefully you'll like my message and you'll be able to contribute in some way. Even if it's just your prayers and support, I so appreciate it. You guys have been truly amazing to me. All these years of posting videos and working with you all, and I just never dreamed that there would come a time where you'd all be giving back to me like this, and I'm so incredibly thankful. You have no idea. So yes, we're doing a second leg of fundraising, a much more major leg of fundraising right now. I need to get some really intense treatment that is not available here in the U.S. It's sort of like I can piecemeal it a little bit on my home turf, which I'm doing right now, but I kind of need it all condensed in a condensed period of time and a condensed place to make my life easier. And unfortunately, it's just really expensive. And the options here are basically, the system is a fear-based system in the medical system. And well, before I get to that, because I want to delve into all that so that you understand, I'll work from now and I'll go backwards so you understand my journey a little bit, and also how it might pertain to you and your path and your ascension and what you've gone through, because a whole lot of my stuff is emotional, and I want to talk to you guys about it. And I know it's a lot of what you guys work on. And so if you want to donate, if you feel inclined to do so, there's a donate button on my website. I'm going to, when my cookbook are ready, everyone who's donated will get a digital copy automatically. You guys, I can't say thank you enough. Whatever you can give, I so appreciate it. This is like, you have no idea how much it means to me. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I need to do to save my life on my own right now. So with that said, let's talk about this journey. That way I can offer you some insight. So if you have anyone who's going through cancer, who is around you, who has went through cancer, if you any sort of disease, really, this all applies to. Our medical system is a fear-based system that was built on setting up a business, right, as many of you know. And the structure is so frustrating for people like us, the empaths, the light workers, those who kind of see through that structure. And so I've had to really advocate for myself with the doctors, and I've had to really educate myself with research, because there's so much available to help you heal and actually cure cancer. You can cure cancer in 24 to 72 hours. Do not be misled. Cancer is not a static condition. Cancer is something that has moved into your body because there was an imbalance, a place where you felt out of control, a place where trauma was held and a blockage was created. And it steps in sort of, as Teal Swan says it, like the new dictator, right? And it's dictating how your cells are acting and reacting, and it's mutating cells, and all the cells are following the other cells. But it's super affected by your body's ability to fight it, your immunity, your lymphatic system, your kidneys, your adrenals. And so in order to cure cancer on a physical level, you have to look at your kidneys, you have to look at your adrenals, you have to look at your lymphatic system, you got to look at your immunity, and you got to get all that stuff going on all cylinders right away. And there's a number of ways that you do that, and I have those answers for you, and I will put them into tips, and I'll put them into some sort of a mass form that I can get it out to the masses, I promise you. I'm talking about doing this through diet and through herbal supplements and herbs. And a lot of what we don't understand is that we are fruitarians, and we are meant to be eating fruit most of the time. And that is fruit that hydrates your body and gets your lymphatic system and gets you draining and gets your kidneys draining, and it gets the toxins out of your body. And when you are on a mostly fruit diet, you do not have to worry about the sugars that everybody's so afraid of, because most fruits turn alkaline in your body. Most fruits are low glycemic. I mean, sure, there's some that are high glycemic, but most of them, and this is not the type of sugar that is bad for you. It's the type of sugar, it's the glucose that is good for your organs, and your brain need it to live and survive. Everything else that's been fed to us, the protein, the protein diets, the fats, the ketos, it's hearsay, and you guys don't have to believe me, and you can, but I know this for a fact. Like, I just know it. It's not how we need to naturally be eating to heal ourselves. We need to be eating about 60 to 80% fruit, and that's really important. And as soon as I started doing that, my skin cleared amazingly. My hair started growing, my nails. Like, for someone who's going through cancer, you're probably looking at me going, well, you don't look like you're going through cancer. That's right, because I'm giving my body in very high doses what it needs. Some of the supplements that I use, like I'm taking Essiac tea, which has sheep sorrel, watercress, all sorts of good things for cancer. It can cure cancer. Lymphatic cleansing supplements, olive leaf nettle, lemongrass, rose hips for vitamin C. I'm getting vitamin C infusions, IV infusions, turmeric, which is the curcumin. That is huge for curing disease and reducing inflammation in the body. So many things, garlic, ginger, so many things that we can do from a plant-based. Broccoli sprouts are amazing for cancer. Broccoli sprouts have something called sulforaphane, and it's like, that's the chemical that's in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. But when you get them in like sprout form, it's such a high concentration. So in broccoli sprouts, it's off the charts how much of this chemical is in there. That chemical actually kills cancer. So all of these things are really important to do on a physical level, and to understand that even if you're not fighting cancer, like from a disease standpoint, preventative standpoint, getting the fruit in your diet is the number one thing. Then getting these supplements that we need, getting the right amount of vitamin D, getting tons of vitamin C for your immunity, getting your lymph draining, getting your adrenals draining, getting your kidneys draining, getting the toxins carried out of your body is the number one way that you're going to fight cancer on a physical level. So you really, at the first inception of like knowing about your cancer, need to not be curing the cancer, but really getting your systems working, getting all the toxins draining out of your system properly. Because most people's adrenals are overworked. Most people's nervous systems are overworked. And most of our lymph systems are not draining properly because of the way we eat, because of stresses, and so on and so forth. We've had obviously mass buildup of toxins, prescription drugs, which I never took any prescription drugs throughout my whole life ever. Not even birth control, nothing, ever. But when I was a child, my mom used to rush us into the doctor, and in every chance that we would get, we would have antibiotics for everything. So I have years of antibiotic buildup until I got to the point where I said, I'm never taking an antibiotic again. I'm going to heal naturally. And that's what I've done. And I've learned how to do it through food. Horseradish being the number one food-based antibiotic, in case anyone is interested in that. So I am just flying through this list because there's just too much to name and all of the things that you could do. But the reason why I'm flying through is because I feel like all of the food-based, and it's so important. You have to do it. It's the path to health. It needs to be a lifestyle change. It needs to be the way that we prevent and cure disease. But it's not the only thing, and it certainly is not the cause of why we manifest disease. We manifest disease emotionally, and through our chakra system, through imbalances, and you guys know that. So for me, I left a relationship that was toxic for me. I had been not listening to myself for several years. And when you don't listen to yourself, whether you stay in a toxic relationship or you go against your intuition or you stay too long in something that's not healthy for you, you're going to manifest disease. Just simple as that. Like, that's how it works. You can't disobey yourself for a long period of time and not manifest disease. So if you guys are struggling with anything, I don't care if it's eczema, depression, anxiety, autoimmune disease, whatever it is, think about like times in your life where you have maybe not honored yourself, right? Gone against yourself in some way, not listened to yourself, felt out of control, felt not in alignment with aspects that your soul wanted you to align with. So for me, I let go of that relationship after 3 years, and this was the person I was identifying as my twin flame, and not someone who I still love and care for deeply, but will never have a relationship with again because it's highly toxic. And this connection was for me to manifest this cancer, to come further into myself. I know that. And when that ended, I thought, oh, great, this is perfect. I get to go, I get to move, I get to heal. You know, my business is on an upswing. I'm writing a book. Everything's going to be roses and peachy. And what do you know? Like, I left that relationship. It was like all the stress, all the disobeying myself, all the not being in control, all of the nervous system that was wreaked havoc on during that relationship, which started for me in my childhood, by the way. Like, this is a pattern that I was repeating. This is something that started early on in cycles of dysfunction in my household, being the empath, running to Band-Aid it, having my adrenals overworked right away when I was a little girl. And then having most of my core wounding at the time around of puberty, and then having been already separated with myself because of all that, you know, leaving myself in the cycles of dysfunction that I grew up in, that now let's just say, like, I subsequently kept recreating those cycles. And, you know, you think about the beating that your nervous system, your adrenals take, and they were this complete nervous system overload, and it manifested early on as a child, from bedwetting to nervous blinking to shallow breathing and hyperventilation. I mean, I remember my mom having to take me to a special doctor and everything. But then not having the wherewithal to be like, oh, this is all emotional. Oh, you're supported, you're loved. You know, then I went further into wounding around the time of my teenage years, like between 12 and 14, I'd say. And that was like where I began to punish myself. So I felt abandoned, rejected, betrayed by my parents. And I would lock myself in my room, and I would shut off my ability to connect to pleasure, meaning fun and lightheartedness. I was looked at as something that they didn't understand, and I was looked at as something that was bad or dark, and I wasn't. I was light, and I needed to be understood, and I didn't receive that. And my parents put their attention on a little girl in our neighborhood, and it was complete abandonment, pretty much. They took her in, and she was a substitute for the little girl that they no longer had in me. And so I would lock myself in my room, and I would get straight A's, and I would have to have everything perfect in my room, and I'd have to do everything that I could control to have any sense of self-worth or self-value. So how did I build up my worth? Through getting straight A's, A+, all my whole entire high school career. That's what from 9th grade onwards. That's about the age I was when this was, heightening. So I don't think I had an eating disorder, but I was really strict and regimented with my diet. I was constantly exercising, and my room had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect, because I had absolutely no sense of self-worth from feeling unloved and having left myself. And so, separated from my true divine self as a child in the dysfunctional household, and then going through this wounding and so on and so forth. So you get the picture, right? So there I am. And then I went into sort of rebellion mode, and I think I just wanted to be free. And then I was all about traveling and getting the heck away from my parents and going and proving myself in the world. And, and I did that very much in my false masculine energy. And many of you who have worked with me know that, because I've shared this. I share it through my teachings, and I want you guys to know, because I know a lot of people do this, right? We set out to prove ourselves, to be understood, to do better, to be better, to build our self-worth through our work or whatever that is. And that was the case with me. And it was too much and too forceful and too oppressive. And when I would get triggered, because those wounds were so severe for me, whether that would be a boyfriend breaking my heart or my family member triggering me, it would be a complete lash out, a complete just temper fit, lash out. And I would physicalize it, like, like all the tension, everything I would hold in my physical body. I would cry. I didn't know how to get all that pain out. And so for many years, I would express it through this imbalanced expression. And, being a soul coach, it helps me so much in working with you all, because I see it in you guys. I see it when I work with my clients, and I feel it. I feel for you. I mean, I feel it. I've been there. And I know those triggers, and I know when it's so visceral. But I also know that embodying it in our physical body, or holding the pain in, or holding it back, or needing to prove, or however it is that we're getting like our pain out without really dealing with it at the root, it's wreaking havoc on us emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And so it wasn't until my 30s that I started working with a soul coach, a great mentor of mine. And I, started this process of self-discovery. Was I always intuitive? Yes. Was I always tapped into signs? Yes. I had my awakening at 16. 16, I met a soulmate who opened me up to telepathy and signs. This is old hat for me. This is why I'm able to work with twin flames and these deep soul connections so easily, because I've been doing it for decades. It's not new for me. I understand signs and synchronicities because it's been a part of my life for literally like 30 years. Okay. Like even before 16, when I was probably like 10, I started to get signs and synchronicities, but it was a particular soulmate that opened me up when I was about 16. Soul connection, I should say. And that was huge opening for me. But still, regardless of whether you're intuitive or tapped in, because I had those gifts and they were pretty developed, but got more developed over the years. But by the time I was 30, it didn't matter if I had those gifts. It didn't matter, because underneath those gifts, I could find that alignment when I was in accordance, when I was, finding that alignment within myself to harness those gifts. However, as soon as I would get triggered, I would go right into the wounding, and the wounding was deep, 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 deep. It ran so deep, so viscerally, on so many levels, on so many layers. What I just gave you, this little short spiel about it, is just the tip of the iceberg. Today, I uncovered in a session with a healer that I've been doing shallow breathing for most of my life, and I knew I had hyperventilated as a kid. I remember falling off the monkey bars and getting the wind knocked out of me, and I remember all the nervous stuff that I would go through and hyperventilating, and I've never been able to breathe fully, and I think it's a huge reason why I have not been able to clear these blocks. So I'm learning how to breathe again. That's another part of cancer healing, is learning how to breathe. If you want to clear your chakra system, you've got to learn how to breathe. Really breathe. Not up here. Not in through your nose. See where I stop? Right? We're talking about in your belly. Down here, pushing the air down. And most people walk around shallow breathing. They don't know how to heal through breathing. This is something that I'm learning right now. It's very profound. It's very eye-opening for me. But I think also when I would go into these sort of triggers, I would stop breathing. I would literally stop breathing. I would not breathe. I would just cut off my breath. And I never experienced panic, but those of you who do, I would highly recommend panic anxiety. Look at your breath. And learn how to breathe. Find a breath coach and learn how to breathe fully. I think it's probably the root of it for most people with anxiety and the panic. And that can come from an early trauma, like falling off the monkey bars and like getting winded, like knocking the wind out of yourself. It can come from that because the brain rewires, and then you adapt, you readapt, and then you carry on these habits for a long time, like myself. Now, this is not for everyone. I'm not trying to blanket this. I'm just giving you some examples, some ideas from my own life so you can like put on the thinking cap and start seeing like how you can apply this to you. I never had a problem standing up for myself, but I was always defending myself throughout my life. And that wreaks havoc on you too, because it's so much energy. I would will things into life. I'd have to push and fight for everything. And when you're doing that, nothing can come your way naturally. But plus, you wreak havoc in your body. We're not meant to do that. We're meant to be still. We're meant to allow things to come to us. We're meant to like take action from inspiration. And that's how I teach. And that's what comes when you make the shift from the trauma, the fear, and into love. So, you know, as I teach you guys, and you guys know this, that all your fear and all your trauma stems from your childhood wounding, your ancestral programming and societal programming, and also past life stuff that you've brought in to clear and realign in this lifetime, or to clear in this lifetime. And all three of those things need to be addressed when you're trying to heal disease. All three of them do. Not just your diet, not just the supplements, not just the homeopathic, you know, healing, and not just I'm doing sound therapy and with the bowls and the gongs and the rattles and the bells, and it's amazing. But that's not going to be the thing ultimately that heals me. It's going to be the thing that gets me into a higher vibration, that helps me clear my chakras. But truly, there's still at the root, there's still some stuff in there that even today I had epiphanies about with the breathing and everything. That once you have the epiphany, you're going to be able to start to repattern your body. And the way I see cancer is that cancer is not a death sentence. Cancer is a process, and cancer is something that is not static or definitive. Cancer is something that you can change. Cancer is something that you can change by taking back control over your body, softening, learning how to connect the chakras, clearing the blockages, getting to the root, and then addressing all of the other things, using frankincense, using fluorite crystals, all the dietary things I previously mentioned, all the supplements I previously mentioned, all those things. It's going to be on all cylinders. But to think that you could do just the outside stuff without that deep emotional alignment and heal something like this, no. Cancer's going to win if you do that. So that's why it's so important for me at this time to lean on other healers. Because I'm a good healer, and I know I am, and I know I've helped you guys, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you. But it's my turn to now find people who are beyond me and work with them and call those people in, and they're coming into my life. And for that, I will emerge as an even better teacher and healer, and the scope of what I do will be so different when I even come out of this. It's going to be bigger and grander and more towards this, looking at healing and even ascension more holistically, not just as my method up until this point has been the root, the alignment, like teaching you that. Well, that is foolproof. That works. But in order to get it on all cylinders, we need the energetic work. We need the chakra work. We need we need all of it together. So I'm so humbled and so honored to be inviting these teachers and healers into my life. And you all are making that possible for me at this time so that I can pull away from work and not have to stress and not have to be making fear-based decisions, which is exactly what the doctors want you to be doing. They're not against you. This is just what they do. This is what they're taught to do. There's no other options. In all these years, think about, like back, cancer was prevalent back in what? The 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and more so throughout the decades. But like in how many years? Like 60 plus 20, 80 years that nobody's found a cure for cancer. And, you know, y'all, I'm just going to make a bold statement, say if you are giving your money to cancer research, you are throwing your money away, because it is a government-run business and it is a sham. And eventually people who administer chemotherapy and radiation, they will be capitally punished. It will be a crime. Okay? And your body wants to thrive. Your body wants to flourish. Your body wants to expand. Your cells want to heal. By killing everything in your body, you're not enabling your body to do that. And you're going to end up with secondary conditions or more cancer. And I'm not judging anyone who has used those routes and who has been successful with them, because I know that you can be successful, but I think the long-term havoc on your body is unethical. And I think the way that we sort of just trust doctors and we just assume that, like, oh yeah, I've never been one of those people. I've never listened to a doctor. I've never done that. So it's incredibly hard for them to look at me and say, you are stage 4. You have weeks or months to live. And the only option on the table for you is chemotherapy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm done with you then. Going on my own, taking it on my own hands. I can't do it. I know how you think about as an empath, how sensitive you are. I am so sensitive. I mean, like, I could pick up like a piece of paper. I could pick up some random thing that I've never touched before and get a rash. I smell the air and I get nauseous. Like, everything makes me sensitive. I cannot imagine what chemotherapy would do to my body. Just being this hyper sensitive person. And that's just me. But I can't go that route, and I'm not going to. And I don't believe in it, and I'm not going to be forced into it because it's the only option. Because, 100 years have gone by and nobody's solved this, but yet other countries have cures that people are curing their cancer, whether it's through holistic practices, CBD oil, infusion therapy, whatever it is. People are curing their cancer on their own, and so it just seems ridiculous to me that we would kill our bodies. I believe that cancer is an opportunity to create a new person. And if we keep looking at it as a death sentence, we're going to keep staying in this fear structure that has kept us stuck in these methods. What needs to happen is everybody's got to kind of band together and start, sharing the alternative modalities. And they've got to become more accessible so that you don't have to go out of the country and you don't have to raise $80,000 to do it like I'm trying to raise right now. It's ridiculous that I have to do that I have to leave my family, my cats that I love so much, that I would have to leave them for 3 weeks to go have treatment. Can I piecemeal it on my home turf? A little bit, but most of what I need, I got to go away and get it now. And I want to change that. I want to make it different for everybody after I heal through this. And I will heal through it because I have a will to help people. And I think so many people out there don't resonate with the things that I don't resonate with and are finding alternative ways to heal. And they're sharing their stories. And it's going to take more and more of us doing that to be able to change this system. It's going to take more and more people not listening to the doctors, not making fear-based decisions. And, what the doctors do is they present you with a death sentence. And that's not what cancer is. Cancer is something that has shown up in your body to force major life change. So you get rid of the toxic relationship so that you clear the root issues, so that you heal and you take back control and you get back in your power. And for each person, it's going to be slightly different. There's no one recipe for each person at an emotional level for that. For me, it's got to be, getting back into movement and flowing, learning how to breathe in the belly level, clearing my chakras, healing the remnants of all this emotional stuff, the sound healing, the letting myself be free, the letting myself experience pleasure and fun and not working all the time, not being so restrictive like I did when I was a teenager. And that's for me. For someone else, it might be something totally different depending on their core stuff and where their blocks are. But I think that for everyone, if you just tune in and you're able to get with healers that can mirror things back for you, you can clear out the past life stuff. You can clear out some of there's stuff around that I learned around my fear of blood that was coming from past lives. So many traumas that I'm clearing through this process. So you're telling me, like, you guys know what the dark night of the soul is, right? But you also know that, like, when you go into that work, you end up healing, you end up all the better for it, right? And it's like the same thing. Like, I'm in my dark night of this cancer diagnosis, but the truth is that all these blessings are coming from it. Like, and it's only been like 7 weeks. And, did I know I had cancer before I went to the doctor? 100%. I did know. I wasn't ready to face it. And I think a lot of people put off the doctor. The one thing I can tell you that I learned is don't put off your checkups. That the doctors are really good for that. Diagnosing, checkups, catching things early is the most important thing. If you catch it early, then you can address it in a less aggressive way, and you can address it. You'll have time to address it. You won't be in this position that I'm in. I didn't want to face it. That's my truth. My truth is like, I knew I had it and I didn't want to face it. I let other distractions come into my life. I saw the eczema coming on my skin and I chose to like heal that instead. And I think it was all just part of this, to be honest, like how my immune system was not working right and so on and so forth. So do I regret anything? I don't, because that's how that's how my soul wanted to navigate it. But if I could give you any wisdom, it would be like, go have your preventative checkups for everything. And don't expose yourself to unnecessary x-rays and radiation, but get your checkups, and then find the resources and tools to cure and heal on your own, and start doing like preventative ways of living and eating, so you don't even have to worry about any of this stuff, right? So I have so much more to share with you, but I think just sharing that is me just sharing my vulnerability through this process. I have nothing else to give right now. I'm not going to sit here and maybe I'll pull a few cards for the full moon, or just messages like from me to you, like from me going through this process. I feel like that's probably more appropriate at this time. I'm going to pull a few cards about me going through this process and what I can give to you, what I can impart to you through that. But beyond that, I'm not going to sit here and do a reading. I mean, I can't work in one-on-one sessions right now. I got to be healing myself. I literally can't work. So I'm relying on all of you to help and support me. I love you guys. I will pay you back tenfold when I get through this. You have no idea. And I love you so much. Each and every one of you, whether I've met you or you've just been following the channel or we're just coming across one another, I'm here to uplift and help you too. And being able to lean on all of you at this time means the world to me. I am so blessed to be in this community and so thankful that I got on this path. Because I think either way, my soul was going to take this path, right? It was going to take this path to cancer, to get myself, to get this new version of myself, evolved and born. But I think that nevertheless, I can't imagine how my life would have been over these past 3 years if I hadn't gone on this path. Like, it's been joyful, uplifting, empowering, beautiful to witness your healing, beautiful to work with you. It's given me a sense of purpose and the ability to explore my gifts and use my gifts and expand my gifts. And you all, I'm so thankful for that. And I cannot express it enough. So let's see what the cards have to say, so I can give you like some additional spirited messages from me to you, through my wisdom, my journey to you. Okay. This makes me want to cry. It's revolution, and it's in reverse. And this is what I'm talking about. We do need this is like, 1960s, it comes to mind, the hippie movement, the protesters, I'm ready to create a revolution. Are you? Are we ready to change things here? I feel like this process, more than anything, is inspiring me to do that. And I feel like so many of you as influencers, as light workers, as YouTubers yourself, some of you as bloggers, as just light workers, empaths who are putting yourself out there, helping others. You're helping to create a revolution. And this revolution it's revolutionizing the way that we've been programmed. And it's helping us shift these paradigms. And it's completely imperative at this time. And we're being asked to rise up to pioneer the revolution, some of us. And I hope that I can be that for you. And I hope that some of you feel called as well and listen to your calling. Listen to your calling for that. Okay? What's the Beatles song? They say you want a revolution, that's the song that comes to mind. And I feel like I've played that before on YouTube, or I've shared that song on YouTube before. you guys are twin flames. You're on the ascension journey. And this is like a twin flame revolution. You are the pioneers of a lot of this ascension work. I'll tell you a quick story. My mom, who's been in a lot of fear programming through this experience with me, has opened up to listening to me, supporting me, being proud of me for my homeopathic healing. She's seeing, like, the veil has lifted in her eyes, and she was previously the type of person who would literally listen to everything a doctor would tell her. If a doctor said go jump off a bridge, she would do it if she thought it was going to save her life or something, or like help her in some way. She was just like, yep, I'll do. And that was all coming from fear. She had, illness, people around her died, illness in her family, and a lot of fear programming from her bloodline. And through this process with me, her veil is being lifted, and it's like, it's unbelievable to witness. Because if you asked me if I ever thought my mom would change in this lifetime, I would have said no. But she is. It's not huge, massive change, but it's like a coming around to a seeing the light and understanding this illusion that we're all under, and this medical field, and this structure that's been set up that's been really, really just feeding us with false information about how we should eat and how we should live and how we should, basically they've been feeding us with disease so that we get sick and that we have to rely on big pharma. And now even my mom is seeing that. So it's really, really good. Not all of our parents came here to do that, but I know we lost my dad before. I don't know if he would have come around, but he's out there in a more expanded way, supporting me and supporting us. So this is initiate. So they're saying initiate a revolution. And I feel like these are in reverse because they're saying don't hold back, get curious. And this one thing I've learned is, like, there is so much information out there to us on the web. Use your guides, listen to your guides, have a communal with your guides, let your right hand. I learned my doctor teacher guide directs me with my right hand, like the hand that uses the mouse and everything, the hand that picks up a book, the hand that finds information. And, let your hand find it. Let yourself find it. Let yourself be guided. Oh, it's kind of like when you guys go through YouTube videos and you scroll on the sidebar, you're like, oh, that looks good. And then you watch the video and you're like, oh, that so resonated, right? That's your guides guiding you. Something told you to click on that video. There's some information in there for you. This is where we need to get super curious and initiate. This is taking charge of yourself. This is advocating for yourself, not fighting. We're not talking about a revolution in terms of fighting. We're talking about a revolution from a place of listening and being in our power. And that's really important. And even with doctors, I've had to watch myself so that I don't get defensive with them, so I can hear them, listen to them. It's hard to sit in front of the fear. It's hard. It throws my energy off temporarily. I'm going to admit that. But when you listen to it and you're diplomatic, and then you can present your version of what you know to be true, and they have no choice but to honor or respect it, that's just it. There is no argument. There is no defenses. That's just it. But I think, like, does the system piss me off? Yeah, but we can't use pissed off, fuck you energy to heal our world. We have to use love. And those who are under, like, the veil and still in the illusion, or still get stuck in that old programming, old structure, the way that they're going to uplift is through you uplifting in a balanced feminine masculine way, in a state of love, and not through an imbalanced energy. We don't need more imbalance to create the revolution. All right, so now the bottom of this deck, the fairy deck, is the Rune King. And the Rune King is all about, wisdom, and he's the wise one, the counselor. And I feel like what I just told you. What's the wisdom from me to you? Find people who are more wise than you, who have more to give you. Explore new modalities. Explore, get curious, initiate to do that. A lot of us, I think, plateau in our ascension and our healing because we're not curious enough, because we're not seeking out new mentors or people that have more information than us, or more wisdom. And I think this is about you too, evolving into your own wise counselor, and as well as me. So it's beautiful as well. And the bottom of this deck is balance. And that's, what we're trying to achieve. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I said balance between your your feminine and your masculine energies, and bringing that forth to create the revolution and to initiate the change. So that's a perfect way to validate my messages. I know this was a lot of information that I just spoke really fast on, but if you guys do want to support me, you can go to spiritualmaterialgirl.com, click donate. I'll put links below too. And I won't see you for a while. Probably won't be posting videos for a while I heal, but I will be back. I promise you, I will be back. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.